Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Plant Power Dad Hour New Year's edition. It's soon to be or already 2021. And so we're glad to be here with you. Corey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. What's going on, everybody? We are doing awesome here in the Warren household. We had a good holiday, and at the time we are recording this, it's a little bit before the new year, just so we can get ready for you. But our tree is up, everything's smelling good, and yeah, I think we're in a place uh, of thanks. Thanksgiving might be over, but we're in a place of really just so thankful. We did have a couple people in our immediate family that did, have some trouble with the pandemic and stuff like that. But for the most part, we are doing awesome, and our family is able to eat good food and stay home nice and safe, and we're doing good. So
No,
very
we're,
lucky.
we're glad to
Place of
have you.
gratitude. Yeah, glad to have you.
No, that's good.
What are we talking about today? Because we are getting into a new year, Gabriel. With the new year becomes a new mentality, a new way of living. You've tried before, but dang it, this is the year, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to be thinking?
Well, when the ball drops, all your problems go away, huh?
Yeah, you just say 2020 was horrible. I'm done with 2020. 2021 is going to be the year. I'm going to not drink anymore. And man, I'm going to watch, saturated fats, specifically just saturated fats. And I'm going to never eat a cookie again. Never. And that'll help me reach my goal of losing 10 pounds, which if I do, it's going to change everything, Gabriel. Everything.
And when you lose that weight, you'll celebrate it by having a saturated fatty meal full of cookies.
But it's just hey, Gabriel, come on. It's just a cheat meal. I'm not really going to eat more of the cake the next day. Or am I? So that's what I think y'all know a little bit. Tell them a little more, Gabriel. What are we talking about today as we end our scene and we begin?
Well, I'm not 100% sure what the heck we're talking about after that little monologue, but from my understanding, if we look at a new year, New Year's resolutions, which most people don't make it 3 weeks before pretty much, kaputting all their New Year's resolutions. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important as we're going forward and for us to talk about is that for you to actually make a New Year's resolution or actually see a real valuable change in your life, in your weight, your health, you've got to know what you need to do, right? And unfortunately, folks, it's not going to be I'm going to cut out cookies or I'm going to do this or do that. It's understanding specifically what you need to do and understanding how you're going to do it. And with that in mind, also, I would hope that our previous episodes, Corey, we've talked about this, that the holidays are certainly a tough time for those to either keep weight off or to try those who have lost weight. Many people maybe lose 10, 15 pounds throughout the year, do really good. They get into the holidays and then they gain 15 to 20 pounds over the 8 to 12 months of the holiday season. And, and they're, took these steps forward and they've taken 10 steps back over the course of, a fifth or a sixth of the year. And so I think that's important, is to not just put all your eggs in or vegan eggs into the basket of new year, new me, right? It's all year, all you. And so that's important. And I think having that mindset is key anyways, because a lot of people can, they can write something down on their notepad and it looks real nice, but then it can easily be kind of hid under the table and I forgot about it, maybe next year.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that as we come around the new year, people think about, okay, resolutions is one thing, right? 80% of people that make resolutions fail at the resolutions after 7 days. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that is a stat that I have read multiple times. I don't know where it's from. So guys, don't hold me to it, but listen, the reason that things like this happen, right, are because people set unrealistic expectations. Things like I'm never going to eat another cookie again. All right. You and I both know that there are plant-based cookies out there that are indulgent, that are delicious, that are moist and amazing. right? There are chocolate cakes. There are mug cakes like from Gabriel's book. There are things that we can do to satisfy that sweet tooth. And I'm going to challenge you. We'll just talk about sweet tooth for a second, okay? Sweet tooth. I did like an apple a day, okay? And it wasn't to keep the doctor away. It's because I like apples. I love Honeycrisp apples, all right? And if you, instead of grabbing a sweet treat, decide to grab an apple, all right? And just bear with me, folks. If you're addicted to sugar, I fully understand, okay? Sugar's good. It's tasty. It's addictive. I get it. But sub it out for that apple. I promise you, after a couple days, and Gabe, you might know how long, but like after a couple days, you're going to start craving that Honeycrisp apple. And what an awesome thing that is, right? Like with my kids, they eat fruit every day, and they eat fruit almost every meal. I don't think they do it. They don't at breakfast. It's like lunch and dinner. There's always like a side of fruit, and they get to choose. They get to choose between strawberries, green grapes, blueberries, or bananas. Okay, that's what they choose, and they have a choice. And when we first started doing it, you know,
I'm just envisioning you, Corey, like, Dad, can I have some red grapes? No, green grapes or strawberries.
It's their preference. They choose green grapes instead of the red grapes. I don't know why, but they're kids, whatever. But you know, when we first started this, we started it because I felt like they weren't getting enough fruit. So I was like, hey, let's just not make it mandatory. Just like present it as an option, even though it is. Let's be honest, it's mandatory, right? But we put it in there, and they get the choice of what fruit they want to eat. But it has now become normal. We've been doing this for years, and the kids are just like, "Ooh, we're out of." They'll tell me what we're out of, Daddy. We're out of bananas. This is a big deal because that's my snack, you know. Mm-hmm. And so these are healthy habits that are long term. We didn't say like, hey kids, we're gonna get together, we're gonna eat fruits for 7 days. We're gonna focus hard on getting our fiber right for those 7 days. After that, we'll go back to normal. No. We got to get it right. So is that what do you think?
I think you hit on something really good there, Corey. And it's that if you're gonna make a New Year's resolution, it's worthless to make a resolution or a life change with the idea that it's only going to be short term and for a, you know, very brief period of time. To say that I'm gonna make this big change, but it's only gonna be for, well, then what's it for? You know, those things don't last, right? They're not meant to last, and they certainly don't create long-lasting change. And so if we're thinking about New Year's resolutions, if we're thinking about it dietarily, we're thinking about it health-wise, we're thinking about it exercising, we should be thinking about things that are sustainable, that are attainable, that are also going to be enjoyable for you as well. You know, it can't be, I'm going to hold my nose and eat all these vegetables and run on a treadmill for the next 3 months, and then life's going to be good, right? No, that's not going to be the case, because you're going to get 3 days into it and you're going to say, forget about it. But if you instead said, you know what, I'm going to start eating whole plant foods. I love sweet potatoes. I love broccoli. I love baked potatoes. You know, I'm going to cut out the animal products. I'm just going to eat whole plant foods. I'm not going to say, I'm going to cut this out of, I'm going to eat whole plant foods. That's what you get to do. It's not what you don't get to do. It's what you get to do. And you know what? I'm going to take a walk around my block, or I'm going to, you know, ride my bicycle for 20 minutes a day. It's something that you already enjoy doing. Just try to make an emphasis of it in your daily schedule. If you do those two things compared to, I'm going to eat nothing but green leafy vegetables and run 10 miles a day so that I can lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months, right? You may do that, but then you're going to gain 30 back in the next 3 months, compared to maybe only lose 5 or 10 pounds by eating whole plant foods and by doing fun, low intensity exercises. But that's sustainable, right? And everybody thinks about, oh, what could I do in the next 3 to 6 months? In reality, what we should be thinking about is, what can I do for the next 30 to 60 years? Right? Because that's what's really going to make the difference. What you do in the next 3 to 6 months, barring any chronic condition, is not going to have that much applicable life change to you health-wise. But what you do over the next decade or 2 decades or 3 decades is going to determine much of your health and how you get to live your life moving forward.
Heck yeah. Well, look, I can't remember exactly. There's an acronym, SMART, right? SMART goals. And I think I always I'm trying to look it up because I wrote a blog post about it. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. But I even searched smart. Wait, maybe I'll just search goals on my site. But the truth is like I only know a couple of the letters. Like I know S is for short. You want your goals to be short. Measurable, M, attainable, actually attainable goals is an A. The R and the T, I forget. And that's what I wanted to look up. Do you know?
Trackable and
I guess that's more measurable. We can make it up.
Relate,
relative. Who knows? Hey, take that advice, folks. You got an
all
SM
we're worried about is SMA.
and an A.
SMA.
It's the SM and the A. Okay.
SMA goals.
That's how it is. Hey, this is live, folks. We did not prepare show notes or anything else for you. This is what it is. But I did, you mentioned visualization and like, stuff like that, writing down goals and stuff. I think, look, if you want to write on your mirror, you want to put something on your mirror and you want to print something out and put it up there, that's cool if you want to look at it like every single day. But what we're talking about, guys, about having whole plant foods, fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, things like that. It's really not that hard.
Starches.
You don't have to write. Say what?
And starches.
Oh yeah. Well, potatoes. Well,
Don't
you say your
simple starchy staples, right?
Yeah. Keep going.
Well, Corey, these are foods that people in populations have eaten for thousands of years. I don't know if you know this, but these are foods like rice, beans, potatoes, oats, corn, quinoa, foods that not only have been eaten for a long time, but also can help prevent, cure, reverse some of the most common chronic diseases, such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity.
Hit them. Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. Yeah. If you don't know that song, folks, then you're not vegan. All right. So yeah, your goals. We talked about your goals. We talked about the foods. Let's do a couple quick tips. Let's do a couple quick things that we can do maybe you're not sure where to start, right? We talk about getting started all the time, right? And so I'm gonna just like put us both in the hot seat. I just thought of this. I'm gonna make this up. So one of the first things I would do is I would get rid of I guess, are we assuming they're vegan and trying to change the whole food plant-based, or are we assuming that they don't have any kind of, they eat animal products? Like
I would assume that we're hearing from people who would like to begin eating vegan or plant-based or whole food plant-based. And so it's a big jump.
All right. First thing I would do, ditch the milk. And I'm talking like ditch it, sub it out immediately. There's so many great milks out there. Okay. You got almond, oat. I've even seen banana milk, which is kind of weird to me. I don't know what that's all about. Do you know what that's about?
So just to be clear, if we're thinking about plant milks, the ones that you're going to really want to look for before you start dipping your, is you've got oat milk, rice milk, soy milk, almond milk. These are milks that you're going to be able to find, plant milks that you're going to be able to find without a lot of extra added ingredients. You start getting into the ones in the fruit in the refrigerated section.
Yeah,
a lot of times those will have a lot of ingredients on them. So
a lot of weird sugar and stuff. I don't know what banana milk is. I've never even heard of such a thing, nor can I promote such a thing, even though I've said it 3 times.
3 times.
I see it and I'm just like, what is that? I don't understand. It's a smoothie. It's called a smoothie.
Much. Yeah.
You ever mix I think I've asked you this. You ever had a banana celery smoothie with water? It's like freaking, it's good.
I've never. No.
It's so good with ice, banana, celery. That's it. Just try it. So refreshing. Okay.
Like what's the ratio, Corey?
I'm going to say 4 bananas and 4 stalks of celery.
Okay.
And water.
All right.
All right. You hit me up. Switch out the milk, people. That's easy. Go.
That's a big one. I mean, just to reiterate what Corey said, dairy is, if you can think of the 2 things that if you cut them out of your diet, going from vegan to whole food plant-based or standard American diet to whole food plant-based or, whatever, if you can cut out dairy, the lactation of a cow, life's going to be a whole lot better. Face is going to thin down a good bit. You're not going to break out as much. You're not going to feel as bloated. Your stomach, you got stomach. You cut dairy out. It's like the wonder food in reverse. If you would like to get a bunch of chronic illnesses as quick as possible, start drinking dairy. That's pretty much what they should put out those mustaches. But so that's the first one. But the second one, which is really important here, is oil. From my point of view here, if you're trying to make a big change in your diet, or to regain health, to lose weight, to reverse some chronic conditions, we talk about obesity, type 2 diabetes, talk about some autoimmune diseases. You cut out the dairy and you cut out the oil, many, many, many times, life gets good. All right. And it gets a whole lot better, if not great. And so if we talk about the oil, that can be daunting. You know, oh my gosh, how am I going to cook my onions and garlic, or how am I going to do this or that? Basically, it comes down to three different things. When you're sauteing, so you could be sauteing vegetables, you could be sauteing garlic or onion. You know, I guess that's what most people would saute. Use vegetable broth. Just use vegetable broth. That's it. That is super simple.
Yeah.
If we're baking, you switch out, you know, there's a fourth a cup of oil in this. Well, you switch it out for applesauce, or you switch it out for a pumpkin puree. Applesauce is normally the best kind of go-to from there. Now, is it going to be the exact same? No, because when you're sauteing, it's pretty much the exact same thing. I mean, you give that to someone, they're like, oh, I don't really notice the difference, other than my mouth's not all coated with, you know, gross oil and grease. But
my heart,
if we're baking, so we're going to switch out with applesauce, or yes, applesauce there. Could use like mashed banana if you're using some sort of baking dish. And then also in roasting. So we're roasting or using something in the oven to prevent sticking when we're kind of doing a long-term cooking solution there. We're going to use something like parchment paper or a silicone baking sheet. If you want to eat more
so I know you said no oil, but we can still use the spray, right, Gabriel?
See, there you go. There you go. That's perfect, Corey. It's fat free. It's fat free. It's trans fat free. It's calorie free. It's the smart.
That's all it does, right?
It's the smart choice, right? No, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the ingredients, it is 100% fat. It's 100% fat. Artery clogging, straight from your lips to your hips fat. Now, the reason that they can say fat-free, 0 calories. No, it was because they're able to finagle quite a bit on the label. And that's why we read the ingredient list way before we ever read the nutrition label. All right. And so if you look at the ingredient list, it's going to say oil, fat, oil, or some sort of crazy preservative, which is going to, you know, not something you want to put in your body otherwise. And then if you look at the nutrition facts, you're going to see that it is accounting for 1/4 or 1/3 of a second of the spray. Now, if we do this, now Jeff Novick does a wonderful, with Dr. McDougall, Jeff Novick at one of his retreats does a great presentation on it. If you look at, say this Sharpie here is my spray oil, and you do 1/3 of a second, most people think, oh, it's 0 fat, 0 this, it's 0 fat, it's good for me, right? Most people think that. For you to get 0 fat, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Right. That's 1/3 of a second. Okay. So you start doing this, you start doing that, you might as well just be drizzling, you know, fat over it. And so, so you cut out the oil, you cut out the dairy. Those are two huge things. Now we can talk about, right, Corey, we can talk about transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet, eating whole plant foods. But if just the two biggest things, I'm sure we'll talk about them real quickly, but if you cut out the dairy, switch it for a plant-based milk, and you cut out the oil, right? Life gets a lot better.
All right, I got, let's do two more.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to not be afraid of tofu. Okay. I want you to go and not be afraid of tofu, because here's the thing. You're probably like, oh no, I can't have too much soy because I heard that's bad for men's hormones and things. That's all poppycock. Okay. Now, unless you're eating 4 to 5 blocks of tofu a day, you don't have anything to really worry about. Now, Gabriel, you could back me up.
It'd actually be more like 40 or 50 pounds.
Okay, 40 or 50 pounds. Okay, good. We're talking about the IGF factor, right? We're not impacting the IGF.
I mean, just to say this for a second, Corey. Yeah, you know, a lot of guys and ladies and whoever worries about, you know, I'm going to get a lot of men. I'm going to get boobs from eating soy. Boobs. Well, hey guys, if you were to get it, just imagine this. If that's what the soy's product of eating soy was, it'd be the best selling food. I mean, they wouldn't be able to keep it on the shelves. So don't worry about that.
You're totally right. Listen, there's a lot of things you can do with tofu, guys. Okay. You can make burgers out of it. You could make ricotta dressing out of it. You could make, you can bake it. You can air fry it. You can grill it. You can saute it. You can marinate it.
One of Corey's favorite recipes is you cut a thick piece off of the block and then another thick piece, and then you've got a little piece, and then you have a tofu sandwich.
Is that one of my favorite recipes?
I heard that's coming out on this week's Lean Green Meal Plan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, stop it. I I enjoy you guys know Payway. You're familiar with Payway, I'm sure. It's a fast food restaurant. The truth, I mean, it's a better option for fast food if you're gonna get it, right? Especially if you can tell them not to cook in oil and stuff like that. But for me, I recreate that meal at our house without any oil and using totally whole foods, steamed veggies, steamed in things like, I mean, this is going to throw it off. This is going to blow your mind up. Water and veg broth. Okay. They taste amazing. They're crispy. They're wonderful. Right. And then the brown rice is made with the same thing, water or veg broth in the Instant Pot. And then the key is really getting like a good solid. You ever had coconut aminos? You ever had coconut aminos?
Yep.
Oh, I will do a coconut amino and I will marinate the tofu in that in thin slices and I'll throw it on my skillet. I have a big fat skillet where I make my pancakes. Gabriel Cini's commented. Like, I love my skillet and I will just put it all together and the kids love it. We call it Payway night. It's great. You can also make some sushi out of that same type of recipe, but boy, is it fun. So yeah, don't be afraid of tofu.
No, I would just say this. You don't have to love tofu either. I think that's a big misconception because, and I know things are different in the Warren household, and that's why this show works so great. But in our household, we actually limit our tofu.
Smart.
Because it's higher in fat, not because of it's being soy, not because of any phytoestrogen, because it's higher in fat. If you take tofu and you take it down to the dry weight percentages, it's about 40% of the calories in tofu are from fat. So it's almost 50%, it's almost half of that block of tofu is fat. And so for our household, that's something that we're going to allocate to a once a week or once every 2 week type of meal in our household, as we do with high fat foods like nuts, seeds, avocados. We just, we limit them in our household. We eat a diet built around the food. The fourth tip that I wanted to mention here is simple starchy staples. So yes, you can go out and get the tofu. So you cut out the milk, you cut out the oil, you're going to try tofu, but man cannot live on tofu alone. And so maybe Corey might, sounds like he's tried 4 or 5 blocks a day, and he didn't have any adverse side effects.
No way.
But what you're going to build your diet around are those simple starchy staples that we've talked about before. You need to become familiar with these staple foods, these foods that, again, people and populations have built diets around. These are some of your favorite comfort type of foods. Now, you may not eat them exactly like you grew up eating them with the same ingredients as you did before, but things like sweet potatoes, white potatoes, rice, oats, cornmeal, corn grits, quinoa, amaranth, teff, wheat, rye, barley, the list goes on and on. These starchy staple foods. And what they're going to do is not only help fill you up, right? You need something to eat that's going to fill you up, but they're going to help fill you up without filling you out, right? They're going to help aid in you losing weight, help aid in you reversing those chronic diseases, help aid in, you feeling overall better, feeling energy. There's a reason, right? These people populations have eaten these foods. One thing that we've done this year, right, on my farm, and I know this isn't accessible to everyone, but we've grown our own, right? We grew our own sweet potatoes. I've got 1,000 pounds of sweet potatoes I'm looking at behind this computer. I've got, 120 pounds of corn that we made corn flour or cornmeal or, things like this, cornbread out of. And so these are foods that you can also grow them yourself. They're quite easy to grow. But you need to become familiar with them. You need to find your favorite ways to cook them. And you do not need to, you certainly can, but you do not need to find 1,000 different starchy staples, different green leafy vegetables, different, non-starchy veggies, different fruits and vegetables. You don't need 1,000 different things that you're going to come up to. You need to find a handful, 2 to 4 of your favorite starches. Ours are rice, oats, beans, which would be kind of on the border, but we would consider them a simple starchy staple, and sweet potatoes. Okay, that's what we build our meals around. It's what we build most of all of our meals around. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we're building a meal around those. Of course, we have some different, we'll have white potatoes, or we'll have, different things there with the addition of fruits and vegetables. Become familiar with them. And then a little bonus here, Corey. I want to throw a little bonus in.
Bonus.
Prep them. Prep them, meaning have them batch cooked and ready to go, so that you're not, you don't get to January 14th and you say, wow, things are going good, but man, I hate making a pot of rice every day, or I hate baking sweet potatoes every day, or, this or that. Well, don't do it every day. Do it once a week. Do it once, twice a week if you need to. But basically, go ahead and cook an oven full of sweet potatoes. Pull them out, let them cool, store them in the fridge, good to go. If you're going to do rice, cook a big pot of rice that you're going to be able to eat. You and your family can eat 3 to 4 days or all the way through the full week. Same thing with beans. Same thing with, oats are a little bit different because we're not necessarily pre-cooking a bunch of oatmeal and doing it that way.
Guess what you just did? You just gave us our next episode. So folks, next episode, we are going to talk about batch cooking because Gabriel is the king of that. And I don't know as much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions and we're going to go through it one by one. I want to talk about the preparation in advance. I want to talk about the time commitment. I want to talk about fridge or freezer. I want to talk about all that stuff. Could it go bad? How do I seal it? What do I cook it in? All that kind of stuff. Does that sound good to you, Gabe?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so we'll do it. But I love that tip. Batch cook it all. So that'll be the next show. And I got to tell you guys, listen, we say this a lot, and thank you so much for your comments, because your comments do drive what we talk about in our show. We want you to let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Okay. Yep. We are just two dudes that have plant-based families that are trying the best we can to be the best dads, the best husbands, and also the best, plant strong dads, the plant powered dads that we can. And so let us know if you have any questions, you have any comments, let us know. Just leave them in the comments below. And we'll get right back to you, and we'll put a show together, and maybe we'll mention you by name. That would be awesome. Right?
There's always a possibility.
Do it. Anyways, so anything else, Gabriel? Did we cover? I think we got a solid start to 2021.
I think we did too. I think this is an exciting year. A lot of new growth happening, and we're all geared up and ready to roll, and we hope yours geared up, ready to go too. And man, just hope it's going to be, it doesn't, there's no hoping. Let's make it a great year.
Yeah, let's do it. And listen, people, we are the Plant Powered Dad Hour. My name's Corey. If you want to hear more from me or learn more about me, just go check out leangreendad.com, leangreenmealplan.com. And if you want to hear about Gabriel, go check him out. Plant-Based Gabriel, all over Facebook, all over Instagram, him and Bridget, and his wonderful Dr. Miller is, she makes an appearance every now and then. But
yes, the baby has a mother.
Yes. And make sure you go check out Gabriel's book, Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. I use it all the time. I love it. And we will catch you next time. Until next time. This is a Plant Powered Dad Hour saying, see you later, my friends.
All right, everyone. Have a good day.